Good afternoon. My name is Donna Feazell, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth matters. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, beginning 1 p.m. Central Time, as I get to ride home with you in the afternoon. If you have any suggestions for shows, I welcome those. You can send an email to donna@donnasedge.com. That's donna@donnasedge.com. New Year's is here. Even after New Year's, we have some traditions we always have around New Year's Day, which is, again, right around the corner, and a lot of it has to do with food. And sometimes, I don't know if it's just a Southern tradition or if it's all over the world, but on New Year's Day, sometimes what we think that we eat may have something to do with our luck within that coming year. I personally don't believe those things. I think you make your own luck, and it's really kind of decided on how you handle situations and how you respond to things. It's my whole take. But it never hurts to be prepared. So let's talk about some of these things. Whether it's black-eyed peas, I've always heard about black-eyed peas. Black-eyed peas, that's going to be your go-to food right there for good luck. Or cabbage. A lot of folks have cabbage on New Year's Day, but adding these luck foods to your party plans are really kind of a delicious way to say, see ya to the old world and the old new world, and hello to a lucky new one. So let's talk about all this just for a few minutes. So pork is one right here that most people, it's a go-to food, so let's talk about that. Pork's good any time of the year for me. But anyway, ham is usually a holiday centerpiece, but pork is specifically thought to bring good luck on New Year's Day. So why is pork a New Year's food tradition? First, it has to do with the way pigs behave differently than other animals. According to some theorists, while chickens and turkeys scratch backward, a pig burrows his snout into the ground and he moves forward in the same direction you want to head in the new year. I never heard of that. But anyway, I'll go for it. Another reason is just plain old logistics. And logistics means pigs are traditionally slaughtered in late fall, which is also makes pork an ideal choice to set aside for celebrating the new year. Finally, pork and cabbage eaten on New Year's is a German and Eastern European tradition brought to America by early settlers. There you go. So start your own new year off right with these barbecue pork sandwiches they had up there. Let's take a look at that again. Nothing beats barbecue. Now, I want a little bit more slaw than that. That wouldn't be enough for me. We put some pickles on there and do your own in a very easy recipe. So what I like to do, get my pork, and so I'll pan sear it just a little bit in a skillet, in an iron skillet, my go-to thing right there. Then you got two different options. You can either put it in the oven and let it sit in a browning bag for a couple hours, or my go-to choice is actually put it in the crock pot. So I'm going to pan sear it on all sides, okay, using olive oil or whatever oil you like to use. Then what I'm going to do is get a cola. It's good to use a Sprite or, whatever cola you like. And then instead of water, I'm putting that cola into the crock pot. I'm going to turn that sucker on and let it cook. And I'm going to tell you what, it will be so tender, you will not need a knife. Okay, so it'll be so tender, that's going to do the work for you. But anyway, that's a good recipe for pork. And you can put a little bit of ketchup in there if you'd like to. And I'll tell you something else I like to do is use steak sauce. A lot of folks don't think of steak sauce for barbecue pork, but it's really, really good that way as well. Number two, I'm getting hungry thinking about this. Can you tell my mouth's watering? Okay, so cabbage. Okay, so cabbage is a good one. So right along the pork is often sauerkraut, or some form of cabbage. Now, this tradition also hails from Germany. We get a lot of that influence. And Eastern Europe, and it's rooted in simple logistics. A late fall harvest coupled with 6 to 8 week fermenting process means that sauerkraut is just about ready when New Year's rolls around. So cabbage on New Year's is also steeped in symbolism. So the strands of cabbage in sauerkraut or coleslaw can symbolize long life, while cabbage can also represent money. That's what I kind of thought it might be. Try your luck with this recipes for a Japanese cabbage pancake. And that looks pretty good right there. So what they did is regular pancake, or you can actually get potatoes and put them together and let it be kind of like hash browns. And then you can put some bacon on it if you want to, and then put some cabbage and a little bit of cheese. And that's really good for breakfast. So if you're going to do a brunch instead of a lunch for everybody coming over, watching ball games or whatever, there you go. That works. Now, everybody's heard of black-eyed peas. Absolutely, and they are fabulous. So eating black-eyed peas on New Year's is a time-honored tradition. And so black-eyed peas are actually kind of a bean, not to be confused with green peas or a hip-hop band. You ever heard of them? But anyway, there's a few different reasons they're associated with luck on New Year's Day. Now, one theory anchors the tradition in the Civil War, and this is when the Union soldiers raided the Confederate Army's food supply, leaving behind only this bean. Why didn't they get them too? Who knows, but they're good. Another theory is anchored in African American history, where newly freed enslaved people made dishes out of black-eyed peas. Now, this is according to what was actually enslaved people celebrated January 1863 Emancipation Proclamation, with dishes again made of black-eyed peas. Now, one of the few feeds available to enslaved people. But other theories date to the lucky reputation back in ancient Egypt. There's always a tradition somewhere suggesting that eating the pea, a vegetable readily available to even the poorest, we must be poor because I love them. But anyway, enslaved people was a way to show humility to the gods. Help increase your chances for a prosperous new year with this recipe. And this is a black-eyed pea dish right here. Well, let me tell you what we like to do. We love dried beans, so we have a garden every year, and the only things I pick fresh in the garden are green beans, and that's because I like to turn them French style, and then I can them. But all the other beans, what I do is I leave them on the vine, and I let them dry. We like dried beans because the juice just seems to be a little bit thicker, and it's almost like a soup-like consistency. So what we'll do, we'll go and I'll put them up, make sure they're totally dried now before you put them in the jars. And I use a little sealer thing that goes on top with my actually paper sealer as well. And this just gives an added benefit of making sure that all the air is out. So what I like to do, these are going to be better than any dried beans you'll ever buy when you raise your own. So I'm going ahead and raise my own, put them in bags, put them in jars. And then when I'm ready to cook them, what I'll do is put them in water and put a lid on top of it. Don't cook them yet. Put them in water and let them just sit. And what'll happen is they'll start hydrating. And so they'll start looking kind of wrinkly looking at first, and then they're going to hydrate. And then that morning I cook them. You're cutting the cooking time down by hours, and you don't have to wait anymore. I'll go ahead and drain the water out. I'll rinse the beans again. Then I'll go ahead and put some more water in there, put a little salt, put a little pepper. I like to use some herbs. And I'll put some herbs in there as well. Chives are really, really good in there as well. And then you can also, if you want pork, you can go in ahead and put sausage in there, or you can put bacon, or just plain old pork that's left over from maybe your Christmas dinner that you had put in the freezer. And that's really good in those beans. So that's a good deal right there. Number 4, let's talk about greens. I love it. If it's green, I love it. So let's go ahead and look at this. So these greens, black-eyed peas naturally go hand in hand with greens as a great combination, but greens themselves are known to be lucky for New Year's. So why do people eat collard greens in the new year? I love collard greens. It's all about the color green. So if you'd rather have kale, that's fine. I love kale. Symbolizes money and prosperity. Also, according to some traditions rooted in the South, we got a lot of those traditions, greens can be hung by the door to ward off any evil spirits that may come your way. Can't hurt, huh? Well, anyway, here's a collard greens and bacon recipe that's simple, delicious, and lucky. So let's talk about that just for a few minutes. I like to cut my collard greens. Okay, so I'll go ahead and put them on my cutting board, and I'll cut them. Got a good knife, good sharp knife, and I'll go ahead and cut them up. Rinse them really good because we raise our own, so we've got those here. And this also applies for kale. I'll probably do kale this year because I've got monster bags of it. I mean, it's just all over the place, and it doesn't freeze, so you got to eat it when it comes in. So what I'll do is go ahead and rinse them, and you can do kale chips, you can do collard chips, you can do that, so that's what you'd rather have, or going ahead and just cook those things up. Put a little bit of bacon grease if you want to do that. If you want to put a little bit of olive oil, that's fine too. And then you can put any kind, if you're going to get bacon, I like to go ahead and cook the bacon first, not to get all the way done, but you can scramble it up, cut it up into little pieces, and cook that in also with your collard greens, and they are very tasty. Very good. Absolutely. Okay, let's see. What have we got next? Let's go on with number 5. Okay, number 5 is rice. So rice is a staple of New Year celebrations in Asia and in the South, where it's paired with red beans for Hoppin' John, which is served on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. Supposedly brings prosperity and luck. And it's associated with prosperity and good luck. And in India, it's believed it can take away bad omens. So you really need to try this dish as well. But I love rice. I don't care what it is. I don't care what. You can do Spanish rice. Let me tell you how you can do that. Okay, so if you want to do Spanish rice, you get white. It doesn't matter what color you get with the rice. And then instead of using all water, usually it's a 2-to-1. It could be a 1-to-1, but I do 2-to-1 in mine because I cook mine a little bit longer. And so instead of adding water, I'll go ahead and get some ketchup or a spaghetti sauce. I use spaghetti sauce a lot. So instead of using, let's say I'm using half cup of rice, and I need 1 cup of liquid because it's a 2-to-1. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and put my spaghetti sauce in and do half a cup. Then I'll fill the rest of it up with water. And then I'm going to pour that on top of the rice. Easy, like the easiest Spanish rice is so good. You can add sausage to it if you want to do the pork part of it, or ground beef. Make it kind of like spaghetti and meatballs. You can do that as well. Let it cook according to the packaging. So anyway, that's just a fantabulous thing you can do. Let's cut into a commercial break. We shall return in just a few minutes.
Twin City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for 2 or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. Jeff McCurdy of the McCurdy Law Firm has been a public service of this area for over 10 years. McCurdy, a member of the Henniger City Council, serves as prosecutor for the town of Sylvania and was named public defender for the city of Rainsville. The McCurdy Law Firm is located at 17326 Alabama Highway 75 in Henniger to better represent his Jackson and DeKalb County clients. If you need to be represented by a true public servant with proven success, call Jeff at 256-996-8701 or send a private email to mccurdylawfirm@gmail.com. No representation is made that the legal services performed is greater than the legal services performed by other lawyers.
My Towels solved the problem that we've all had with towels. You go into the stores and they feel lotiony and soft, but then you get them home and they wind dry you. That's why I made my towels. They actually work, they're soft, and they absorb. And now I'm excited to announce 2 brand new lines of my towels. What makes them the best towels ever is they're now made with 100% long staple Shapir cotton. This is a combed ring spun cotton that makes my towels even softer and more absorbent than ever. And now you get a 6-piece set for an amazing introductory sale price as low as $29.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get my towels for only $29.98. Or you can get my designer premium line for just $20 more. Either way, you save 50% now on all my towels. They actually work. What a concept. This offer won't last long, so please order now.
mypillow.com.
At Liberty Bank, we're all about community. Whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need, toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
Okay, we are back. My name is Donna, and I am your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, from 1 to 3 p.m. Central, as I get to ride home with you in the afternoons. I love it. If you have suggestions for shows, I want you to send suggestions, okay? And if you'd like me to do a little research for you, I'll be glad to do that as well. You can send an email to donna@donnasedge.com, donna@donnasedge.com. Now, you can find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, Abundance Television, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And don't forget the podcast, thenewscasters.com, thenewscasters.com. So let's go ahead and start talking about those foods that mean luck. Okay, I don't know if it's luck so much as we just like to eat them, you know. And by the way, don't depend on luck to rule your life. You can make your own luck. And let me tell you how you can do that. Be smart. Do like Phil and I do. We've been doing this Proverbs deal every single morning. Okay, so we'll kind of dissect a verse, and sometimes, like, this is our second year, so we've picked up on some things in Proverbs that we hadn't picked up on before. And so what you'll do is you'll learn about insight, you'll learn about making decisions, about being wiser. And I can always be wiser. I don't know about you, but I can. So don't let what I'm saying here be the rule to your life. Okay, learn how to make your own decisions, learn how to make wise ones. But again, the book of Proverbs would be, in the Bible, would be a great way to get started. Okay, cornbread. Who doesn't like cornbread? I thought everybody in the world liked cornbread. So one thing that many of the lucky, and I think it's number 6 right there, there we go. And that's exactly how my cornbread is done, in an iron skillet. So this is what the article says. Because being delicious, of course, cornbread represents, or even looks like, things that represent wealth and good fortune. I don't know how to get that, but let's dig. Let's find out, what does that mean. Cornbread's golden hue and often round shape, especially when made in a cast iron skillet, represents gold. Okay, I get it. An obvious representation of good fortune in the new year. So corn spoon bread includes both cornmeal and fresh or frozen corn kernels for extra corn goodness. Okay, I've got to give you this super easy recipe. You don't need a package box or anything like that. So this is what you'll do. First of all, you need to preheat the oven to 350 degrees. You'll need to add some kind of oil in there. Regular vegetable oil is good. I like to use olive oil in mine. You can do a combination, whatever you like. And just all you want is just the bottom to be covered. Okay, don't fill it up really high with oil. Just the bottom barely covered. You're going to throw that in the oven. Now, while you're throwing that in the oven, so it's going to be heating up that skillet like super good. So what you'll do is get about a cup And by the way, I do my recipes not necessarily by a recipe, but the way it looks. So what I'll do is add about a cup of cornmeal. And we like yellow, but it all tastes the same. Yellow just looks better. So anyway, you've got your yellow or your white cornmeal. And then I'm going to add about 3/4 cup of flour. It needs to be self-rising flour. You're going to mix those two ingredients up really good. Okay, now here's the key. Here's the trick. If you don't have eggs, no problem. All you've got to do is get some mayonnaise, because mayonnaise has your dairy products in it. It's got eggs in it. It's got all that stuff going in it. So I'm going to go ahead and add a couple tablespoons of that into my mixture, into my batter. And then I'm going to add enough liquid, and I like to use buttermilk, but you can use sweet milk. You can even add water if you want to. So you can add just enough liquid to where it's going to be kind of, it's not going to be like bread dough, nothing like that. It's going to be almost like pancake dough, but just a little bit thicker. Now here's the secret ingredient. You know those dry packages that you can get of ranch dressing? I'll put a packet of that in there, and everybody goes nuts over my cornbread. So I'm going to put that in there as well. And then if you'd like to, you can put cracklings. You ever had crackling cornbread? Oh man, it's to die for. I love crackling cornbread. So you can put some of those cracklings in there. And another thing you can do, if you don't have cracklings, I mean, there's other things you can do. You can put cheese in there. Cheese is really super good in there, especially mozzarella, because it stretches. And everybody really loves that. So let me tell you something else you can do. So I had a real good friend. She passed away a few years ago. Her name's Pat. And we were living in Charlotte, North Carolina. And so I had an event I had to go to, and she wanted to go with me, because Phil was having to work that day, and he had his corporate job, and he could not turn loose. So Pat said, I want to go with you. So we go to Mount Airy, which is Andy Griffith's hometown. And she said, have you tried those turnip green sandwiches? And I said, I don't think I'd like that, because I'm thinking it's going to be all drippy and wet, and it's going to be disgusting. So she got one, and she said, I want you to take a bite. If you'll just take a bite, you're going to love it. And I said, I just don't think I will like that. And she said, take a bite. I'm ordering you. So she wouldn't shut up. I had to take a bite. So I took a bite. I wanted one. And here's what they did. There's regular cornbread. They had the turnip greens. They had been cooked. They made sure all of the water was out of it. You know how you'll eat turnip greens and you get a big old bowl and you're eating them and it's all liquidy look. And sometimes I put cornbread in it, but I've never had it as a sandwich before. Then another thing they did was very thick pieces of bacon, and they put that on there too. So again, the key is to make sure you get all the moisture out of there that you possibly can. And by the way, you know what the juice is on collard greens? It's called pot liquor. And it is good for you. No, it's not alcoholic. They just call it pot liquor. And you can drink that. And if you have a bad cold, drinking that pot liquor when nothing else tastes good, that tastes good. And it'll get you over your ailments. I didn't think about that when I had COVID. That would have probably been a really good thing. But anyway, you got the recipe there on cornbread as well. We keep up with what time it is. You know how it is. I get started talking to you and I forget I'm on Earth. Okay, let's look at this one. And this is number 8. It's called a New Year's pretzel. New Year's pretzel? What in the world? Okay, so New Year's pretzel. Thank the Germans for this sweet finish to the old year and start anew. Now, sweet pretzel is often frosted or sugared, is broken and shared among your guests at some point between midnight and the morning to bring goodness into the new year. So, looks like what they've done, and let's see if I can pull up the recipe real good. Here we go. And pretzels are always good anyway. Okay, so it's a German New Year's pretzel. Okay, it takes about 75 minutes to make it, cooks for about 30 minutes, about a total of 105 minutes, and this makes 8 servings. So let's just see what's in it. Now, in the dough, they use 3.5 to 4 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 package of active dry yeast, or about 2 1/4 teaspoons. Then they're going to add about a 1/3 cup of sugar, and that's going to help the yeast to come alive too, by the way. 1/2 cup of milk, a pinch of sugar, 1 large egg at room temperature, and then you're going to add about a 1/4 cup of unsalted butter. You got to melt it. And then you'll need 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of lemon zest. That would be good. And then you'll put an egg wash on it. So you'll mix all the ingredients together, throw it in a preheated oven. And that stuff, that looks good. I'm going to have to do that for New Year's. I really think that would be absolutely delicious. Okay, let me keep up with what time it is. Now, they also say fish. So let's just take a look at that. Okay, fish. It looks kind of like fish tacos or something. Okay, so fish is another common dish on plates around the world New Year's, especially in cultures close to water. For example, Scandinavian countries, herring was considered a good fortune, especially as the silver scale fish called to mind valuable money. So herring, heavily traded, is also essential to the country's prosperity there. Okay, so eating herring is a good way to hope for a good catch in the months to come because herring had unpredictable migration patterns. A good year didn't necessarily indicate the next year would be successful. Today, herring still symbolizes good fortune, making it an excellent option for New Year's appetizer. Likewise, pickled herring makes a tasty topper on any party platter. Not a herring fan? Sardines are a member of the same fish family. Sardines. Didn't know that. Okay, so it's also considered lucky. So you can have smoked sardine toast on lemon mayo and fennel salad and find out for yourself if this works. Okay, now the next one is noodles. So let's talk about noodles here for just a minute. In Japan, in China and Japan, many other Asian countries, it's customary to serve and eat noodles on New Year's Day. Now, their length symbolizes longevity, so try to make sure not to break or shorten the noodles during the cooking process. So what you want to do is throw the whole kit and caboodle in there. So also sesame stir-fried noodles, you can try those, and those are good. I love anything sesame. Or try a delicious recipe for spicy coconut noodles. And here's a recipe also, and this is the last one, and this is grapes and other fruit. I'm all into fruit. That's why we have fruit trees all over the place. Okay, so New Year's Eve is traditionally celebrated with 12 types of fruit in some countries. They choose 12 specifically to symbolize each month. So these folks tend to prefer round fruits, but mangoes and watermelon also make the cut. Now, in Mexico, grapes are eaten at midnight, and this is to symbolize the year ahead. In China and other Asian countries, oranges are prized for their round shape and gold-like hue as a representation of good fortune. Now, throughout the world, pomegranates. If it's a fruit, I love it. They're a symbol of fertility and birth and are eaten at the new year. A jewel-toned slice of pomegranate autumn toast is easy, and it's a delicious way to start the new year on the right foot. We got time for one more, and that's dumplings. Now, we think of chicken dumplings right here in the South. Dumplings are a pan-culture holiday favorite, but with every country having their own take on it, so different in other countries. Dumplings are a big part of the Lunar New Year celebration, as their shape resembles money bags. I kind of dig that. I can see it. You're encouraged to eat plenty of dumplings to help you bring your wealth and good fortune in the new year. Now, this is a side note. Turkey and scallion dumplings make good use of any leftover turkey, holiday turkey you may have lurking in your freezer, and I might add to that chicken, and I'd say ham's another good one. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful new year. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth does matter. You can find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, and Abundance Television found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Don't forget the podcast, thenewscasters.com. Thanks for watching.